Make it look its best. You don't want to What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode of Detail Garage. I'm Nick, and this is Jose, also known as Cosmo, and we're going to go over why it's so important to take care of your wraps, and also what will happen if you let jet fuel, water spots, pollen, and bee droppings eat away at the finish of your vehicle.
Today we are going to focus on this beautiful Tesla that's an actual matte wrap Tesla. The owner does tend to live near the airport, so you can definitely understand he has a lot of jet fuel, a lot of contamination from trees as well as tree sap and pollen. We will definitely be treating the vehicle with a nice Meticulous Matte Auto Wash Soap, which is a very high lubricated soap, perfect for any matte, satin, or any wrap, which is a matte and satin finish. We'll definitely be able to go ahead and clean it right off, not causing any shine, any harm to the wrap or the matte or satin finish.
So just like Jose had mentioned, this vehicle, it lives near an airport, which means you're going to get all kinds of jet fallout. It sits underneath a tree, which means you get pollen and bee poop, which eats away at the finish of the vehicle. And that is clear for vehicles that have a regular finish or even matte finishes such as this one. And even though this isn't a matte paint job or even a matte wrap, it's actually a matte clear wrap. It's still sensitive to all kinds of waxes, polishes, or any kind of soap that you use. So we want to make sure that we use something that's dedicated for matte finishes. And that's why we're using Meticulous Matte Auto Wash, which again is going to give it a nice thick layer of foam, which reduces the chances of scratching it. And also working in linear motions means we're not going to add any swirls, because if you didn't know, if you scratch a matte wrap or even a matte paint job, you can't polish it because that can either stain it or completely change the sheen. So we want to make sure that we gently remove anything on the surface, such as abrasive particles or anything that stains. And also this is going to enhance the wrap that's on the vehicle itself, because it's going to help remove anything that's on the surface without giving it any kind of sheen or staining it. But to begin with any kind of detailed job, we want to make sure that we do the proper steps, which is going to be rinsing it down from top to bottom with our pressure washer. This is going to knock down the loose stuff, and then we're going to foam it up with the Meticulous Matte. Give it a moment as well, and then we're going to come back with our wash mitts, knock down the stubborn pieces of bee poop or pollen. This way we can get all the things off the surface and give it the best finish.
Let's get started.
So now you guys can see just that thick layer of suds, that just a couple of ounces that Meticulous Matte will make. And this is a great step for you guys that have matte wraps, matte paint jobs, or even matte wheels, because again, it's a very sensitive surface that can stain easily, or you don't want to add a wax that will give it a shine or a sheen. So by using something that's dedicated for matte and satin finishes, it's going to be the best way to safely clean it, as well as prevent any kind of scratches or swirls that would damage the finish. Now, you saw that Jose did a very good job. How'd you like foaming it up?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful foaming this nice Tesla up.
Right? It's fun working on nice cars.
Oh yeah.
But now again, the reason why we're doing this is because the owner of the vehicle has, one, a very expensive car, and it's also very expensive to wrap your vehicle, as many of you know. So you want to take the time just to make sure that you're not ruining your investment, and also that you're giving your car the best chance of looking its best for as long as possible. Now we also have our 2 buckets set up here, which means that we're going to be using 1 bucket for a wash and 1 bucket for a rinse. There's a dirt trap in both of these, which filters out the abrasive particles that we're going to be pulling off the surface, so that one, we're not bringing it back to the surface, but we're also keeping our bucket nice and clean. We have 2 wash mitts. I'll give you one and I'll take one.
Sure, I'll take the other. We're
going to start at the top of the vehicle, working our way down, kind of like you're peeling an onion. We're also going to be working in linear motions to prevent any kind of swirls. So we'll go to the vehicle. You can take the passenger side, I'll take the driver's side.
Will do.
So like a lot of you guys, it's harder to work on taller vehicles. So if you need a mop or if you need a step ladder, make yourself accessible and maneuver around the vehicle. Even me, who's basically 6 foot tall, I still can't reach the top of the Tesla here, so we're going to get a step ladder. We're going to get that area, but as you work on the car, you're going to collect a lot of dirt or bird droppings or bee poop or pollen, and that's going to collect in the fibers of your wash mitt or your sponge. So that's why you have your second wash bucket, which you're going to go back to and scrub it against the dirt trap. And that's going to release all of the dirt that's in the fibers, and it pushes them down underneath those cones. So again, keeps it out of the fresh water, but that also keeps it off of your vehicle. And also, to further prevent that from coming back to the car, you want to wring it out on the ground. This way, again, you're not getting it back in your fresh water.
Just like this, right, Nick?
Just like that.
There we go. And coming back to our second bucket again with soap. Getting all that good lubrication from the Meticulous Matte. So working from the way top to bottom.
Now after finally rinsing off the spent product, this is going to ensure that we don't have any water spots, unless you guys like kind of scrubbing away or polishing off those kind of things, but we want to make sure that the vehicle is thoroughly rinsed and dried before we send it on its way. So I'm going to be using a Miracle Dryer with some Meticulous Matte Spray Detailer, which is going to, one, help break the surface tension between any of the water spots. This kind of helps as a drying aid, but also is going to add some protection to that matte PPF. And then Cosmo is going to be using one of our favorite towels, which is the Woolly Mammoth, because it absorbs a lot of water and also super plush, so it won't scratch.
Yeah, holds up to 1 whole gallon of water, isn't that right?
That's right. We can test it here if you want to.
Oh yeah, let's go and get to that.
Yeah, Sears has a rod knock. This thing really is soft, and it's going to prevent any kind of imperfections in your vehicle. But again, all we're going to do is spray this directly onto the surface. We'll show you here around the door here. Just a couple mists, and you see the water start dripping off the surface because it's attaching to the water molecules, and it's also releasing the surface tension so it doesn't dry onto the vehicle, and this reduces the chance of water spots. So for those of you guys that have a matte, a satin, or even a suede finish, this is the best way to keep your car looking its best for as long as possible. And you can also use the same steps and products on your matte wheels because, again, brake dust and things like that are very corrosive, especially on matte surfaces, because you can stain it. So having the right products and also the right techniques is going to make sure that you have that perfect finish for as long as possible. So if you guys like today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop your comments down below for future videos or anything else you guys want to talk about. We'll see you next time right here in the Detail Garage.
Let's get to it. And we have Nick right now flexing. That's right. That's the only time you get to see Nick flex. That's what I'm talking about, all right? Hype it up, you guys.